Dance Dance Industrial Revolution. Welcome back to the factory. We're going to be going into our third day today and trying to continue our progression towards bronze, towards iron, and towards inevitably outer space. At least I think that's the end point. Actually, I haven't played this mod far enough to know. But yeah, we did spend a little bit of time off screen making a few adjustments here since we last met. I did go ahead and finish off the boilers over here. Just adding in another 6 there, making it nice and clean 30, which could be pretty easy to replicate if we so choose. I guess technically we could also put some on the right side of this watering pipe, but happy with it as is as well. Anywho, point being, yeah, there were a few minor adjustments up top as well, but for the most part, they were still very basic. We're just doing basic drill into furnace action, and we really need to look towards making that bigger and better very soon. So that's the game plan, but first, we want to keep our consumption rolling. So we're going to be going ahead and working on 4 new assembly lines with these ingredients in mind. The tin plates, tin gears, copper pistons, and copper covered beams. And then we'll kind of see where the day takes us. But one other adjustment that I did end up making off screen, other than a little bit of handcrafting to kind of set us up for success on this episode, is that I did go ahead and set up another set of copper gears. Instead of having 3 machines just putting it on both sides, we ended up doing 3 and 3 here by running the copper plates underneath. We did the exact same thing with the rivets over here. So dual-sided all the way through. Probably won't end up needing that many necessarily, or at least it's not really scaled to production right now, but yeah, we'll go with it as is. And yeah, that takes us to our next project. So we're going to be jumping in to our tin line and trying to build up our tin plates and etc. So as far as that goes, it should be pretty similar to what we've already been working on. These 3x3 grids are pretty nice to keep things moving. I'm going to go ahead and underground belt this so it can just bring the steam across nice and easy. And then we have to, of course, change the recipe to tin plates. But you'll see that all this stuff works out pretty well. And then I think what we're going to do is have a conveyor belt going down. And what we can do is then rotate this and run the line across the top, allowing us to get all the materials we need. So that'll help there. We can even bring it in a little bit. And now we get the opportunity to do something similar to what we did with the copper line, which is bring the tin plates down, then grab a few of these templates with another set of inserters, which will be not constructing templates. They're actually going to be going for the tin gears. So grab these, bring that across. I suppose we could have done this a little bit. Yeah, it's fine. It'll work out the way we want it to. That's the important thing. So from there, we'll have the gears coming down, and then we're also going to be sending half of this stuff across the way to here so that we can do the exact same thing on the other side. And a little more steam across. And that should be enough of that. We'll go ahead and split this off like we've been doing up to this point. And we could do, I guess, a steam inserter here by putting one there and putting it all in a box. So that in case we need that for raw crafting stuff, like making, I don't know, some more assemblers, some mixers probably. Going to be needing pretty soon as well, I think. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll just want these ingredients kind of up for grabs, so that we don't have to make 71 plates all by hand, which just seems silly. That'll look better. Heck, even these gear wheels will look great once we get them rolling. Then as far as the remainder that's going down the line is just going to be going on to... Technically, we don't even need to have these here. These are more for reference than anything, so I don't actually need to circumvent them. I can actually just start the template line. Here we go. Don't know if you all noticed, but I did end up getting a nice little upgrade to my microphone. This is an old broadcasting headset I used to use, and with a little bit of software magic, I think it's sounding great. Hopefully you guys like it as well. Always nice to get some nice little improvements like that. So we got ourselves a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a box. And suddenly, we're up to 2 on the chain for our next set. Now, again, these are just for a reference. We don't actually need them. We just need to know what we're looking for. Between the 2, which one's going to be easier to do next? It's going to be copper pistons, and is going to be copper plates and rods, and then the copper cap beams are going to be plates, rivets, and wood. Okay, wood's going to be interesting. So I'm going to keep on telling the robots to just clear this stuff out as best we can. And then... oh, we don't have our alt menu on. Sometimes it's kind of nice to just like look at it with it nice and clear, but you're also not seeing the full picture. There's a lot of important data you get out of this. Probably cancel this one out now that we have gotten ourselves a lot more in terms of like the gears and stuff. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and grab some of that for ourselves. And that's already going to speed up the process of making all these little pieces. How we doing? Most of the other materials are looking pretty good, I'd say. Assemblers for sure. Do like some small assemblers, and then the big one needs some copper. Specifically plates. We need a lot of copper plates, so we know just where to go for that. Been boxing it up for a bit. Pop, 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 pop. And now we can go ahead and, yeah, make ourselves an assembler, some small ones too. And then that'll do it. So next thing is next. Pistons and the copper cube. I guess 3, yeah, I think between the 2 it's going to be easier to get the pistons rocking and rolling. That's going to be copper plates and copper rods. So what we can do is, if we're not worried about conveyor belt shortage, we can actually just combine the 2 together. So what I'm going to do, send the stuff that we don't need along its way. And then we're going to do a little bit of... I'm worried I'm going to contaminate belts if I do it the way I want to. I'm sure we can just do it like this, right? Yeah, so we can just do this, continue on, match it all up nicely. And then these guys can then go here. Nice. Okay. So we got our nice little split going. We'll do it here just to make sure. We'll move it on up. Now, as far as the setup goes, we're going to need something similar to this. And it's going to have just enough space, it looks like. So we'll do this. Excellent. And then we'll run along here. And then we just need to change the recipe. Oh, I got myself caught. There we go. And now change the recipe up to... yeah. Okay, so the small assembly machines have a limited amount of recipes. In fact, we've basically done all of them, as far as I can tell. Let's see. We haven't done that much in terms of stone, brick, and wooden beams. Oh, and bronze will actually benefit from it too in the near future. So we'll still have some use for the small assembly machines, but not going to be according to the plan we had in mind. Okay, so we definitely want to be making sure we have plenty of these big steam assemblers now. We do. And let's see what we can do with it. So, steam assembler, right here. Do we just want to run it? Do we want to... What is this? Okay, this is unnecessary now, so we can go ahead and just do this if we want it. Okay. It's yours, my friend. Let's just do this. And now... something more like this. No, that's still not going to be enough space. So, once again, trial and error. More error than trial, but we'll figure it out. And then, yeah, bop. And how fast do these build? Are they the same speed as everything else, roughly? So that's like 1 second for copper gear, half a second for copper rods, half a second for rivets, 2 seconds for 1 piston. So I guess we need twice as much, technically. These aren't any faster than the smaller ones. They're just more versatile. So, yeah, let's go ahead and, I guess, connect these. Pink. Alrighty then. So we can go ahead and connect all that together. And set them on the right target, which is going to be these pistons. And then give them a conveyor belt where they're actually going to be putting all this stuff. Cool, so if we have 6 making this stuff by default, and this one we're going to need... I mean, technically we're not sure about the demand, like maybe we need half as many copper pistons, and then we don't need to make that many, but just for good measure, we'll go ahead and make 12 assemblers, since it takes twice as long to craft that much, and that way you can have roughly the same amount across the board. So currently we have 11, no 12, there's one more up there, and then we're gonna have to copy paste this a bit. More like this. It's going great. And then something like this as well. Means you can't really get close to these machines, but that's okay, because the idea is they work on their own. Now, actually, technically speaking, these guys are half. We want it to be like, if we want it to be equalized on the conveyor belt, what we can do, instead of doing the splitter action, is just say, how about at the halfway point, which is here, so this splitter right here, we're going to want him to be putting it onto the other side. So what you can do, if I remember... Yeah, so the way that belts work is that it will prioritize whenever there's an intersection, like perpendicular intersection like this, it'll prioritize whichever belt's been running the longest. So theoretically, it could have been running from some place really far south, and they're like, oh, we don't want it to interfere with that, so this one will just join on its stuff onto it. But you'll notice that it only places it on the left side. So what ends up happening is that you can just do it to right here. I'll show you what happens when I do this. Not good. But if we do it with this, it'll all be on the left side, which is cool because by default, the inserters are going to put it on the opposite side. So, doing pretty good there. And the only trick after that is we'll have to bring it back home. Oh, left a few on the right side, but that's okay. And handcraft just wrapped up. It looks like we are going to be needing more pipes as well. Maybe some more inserters. You see, it's so much cleaner on the handcraft station now that we have all these like raw or reprocessed materials. So that's pretty cool. Technically speaking, we probably want to set this up to go south, but we can't really get over that hump. So we kind of boxed ourselves into a corner here. Yeah, I'll just have to run another belt down, which is not what we really wanted to be doing. We really could have just like moved this slightly to the side or slightly down, and then we could have just had a single belt line, but I'm not too worried about it right now. I'm going to go ahead and just clear this out and bring home our spoils. I hope y'all are having a fine evening. Thanks for checking out the video, checking out the factory. Hope you're enjoying the Industrial Revolution as much as I am. And obviously we're not bringing copper cap beams in just yet, so we can go ahead and just call this right here with just a little bit of a detour to put down. I'm going to put a burner inserter, which is not that. It's in fact this one. And he'll just box up a bunch of stuff, and we'll give him a nice big lump of coal that doesn't exist. All right. How are we doing, coal? I always play at nighttime, so I'm going to say, how you doing tonight? I guess it's not accurate for everybody. Might be bright in the morning. But Either way, great way to start your day, right? Little factory action. Alrighty, so we're doing pretty good. I would say to try to make it to the next stage at some point in this video. Only 15 minutes in, we got 3 of our 4 desired materials to move on. Go ahead and grab some wood for us, boys. Alright. So next, we're going to be going and trying to get these copper cap beams, which means we need wooden beams crafted in, I guess, small assembly machines. And then we're going to be covering them in plates and rivets. So we'll pull plates and rivets off the line, which means something like... Well, we could do the same thing we did before if we're comfortable with it. I never used this method before to pull stuff off the line, but it totally makes sense. So we can just, like, go here. We know what we want, right? So we can just double checking that I'm doing the right thing. But yeah, plates, rivets, and we'll get the wood up top, and it'll work out. So, well, we did it like this before, right? And it actually feels pretty clean overall, what we're doing. So I could see, you know, I did basically a rainbow road type structure on my last one, and it was a mess. But this, if I'm methodical about this, I could see this working okay. So we just do a little bit of this, pull this down. Whenever they cross section, they each split onto one line like this. So one down, one up, and then the other one to the left or right. Always works pretty well. And then we'll be in a little bit of awkward spot. We can always left horizontal splitter it. But ideally we just do this, this, and then we hit exactly where we want right here. Cool. And then we can just run this through. Alright, so this is material for our copper capped beams. So this is going to be the first time we build something that requires 3 inputs, I believe. So in that context, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have 2 on one side, which would be this. Then we'll have the wood on one side going in, and also the wood covered beams coming out. And then we'll do something called a filter on the splitter. So should work out pretty well. Good opportunity to knock down the forest a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and set up something, part of a deep construction planner. You can actually tell it what you want it to destroy. We're going to make one that's just trees and rocks only, and I'll put that over here. And that way, I can actually run it over top of my... So normally when you do deconstruction and you tell it this, it's going to say, robots, you're going to kill all the trees, and you're also going to take down all these factory bits. And I'm like, nah, that's not the plan. So now I can just run it over this, and it'll just only take trees and rocks, which is pretty awesome. Alrighty. Where was I? Yes, so we're going to be taking a lot of wood and making it into stuff, and then putting that into the process. So as far as how long this stuff takes to make, 2-second crafting time, similar to the other. Ideally, we make 12 assembly machines to do all this stuff. So if assuming I have that, I can go ahead and put it right here. Why is that one not placing? Is there... Yeah, I'll just cover this stuff up nice and easy. Alrighty, and I think that will allow us to do what we want. Don't see why not. Yeah, I don't want to build it too close to the action. Yeah, in case I want to do some splitter and box stuff, I'll build it up a little bit. I used to be really focused on trying to minimize how much space this covered, so I would, like, you know, split half of it down to here and, like, run 6 north and 6 south and stuff like that. But I'm realizing how unscalable that is. And the fact is, we're not hurting for space. You know, we have a whole map to work through. Technically, I think this map is, like, basically infinite. There's just so much room to work with. You're never going to fill it all. So in that context, you want things to be relatively space efficient just to make sure you don't have to travel too far, but nitpicking 1 lane versus 2 is probably going to be unnecessary in the long run. Alright, so we already have this set up here, which is feed in. No, feed in is this one. So here's the internal feed. It says give us the stuff we need to operate. We're gonna have to get some steam across, so we can do this and then a little underground over to here. which will then connect both these lines here. I guess I don't need that. I can just do this. Cool. And then we'll probably be doing something. Oh, we'll be doing it a bit different on the other side. We're going to have one going in and one going out. I usually try to be like, have a system like which ones are in, which ones are out, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter that much. So if we copy this here to this one, and then we put the necessary pipage in between, that is basically it. We can replicate that all the way down. I'm pretty sure I'm about to run out of inserters. Yeah, we needed to be making some more right now. Because if this requires 4 per... effectively, this requires 3 per inserter, or per assembler, and that we have 12 of them. So that's 36 gone right there. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Should be fine. We'll figure it out. And we just gotta make sure they get steam too, which shouldn't be too hard with that. And then a assembly machine down here. Now, I am going to be boxing up the wood and putting it in containers that will allow it to access it, but I'm trying to think of the best way to do it, because we want to make sure we're getting a good, healthy supply. So I could see this being fine, and then doing this, and then we just even distribute this here. So they'll put it on the line. These guys will eat it up. This is not the right recipe. And we'll go copper cap beams for these. All right, and they're doing their thing now. Or they're oh, whoops, we made a mistake. Okay. Cancel. And what we need to be doing is actually turning this there's one more chain in the process, which will be taken care of. So we'll take all this stuff off the line for a bit. Actually, I really can just do it faster by hand. So I'll just hold down the button, pick it all up. And what we actually want to be doing is thinking about, okay, if we have 12 of these, how quickly do we need to be building wooden beams? We build them one every half a second, which means that, how many wood goes into the beams though? It might be 2. No, it's just 1. So basically we're getting beams 4 times as fast. So we don't need nearly as many inserters. In fact, we only need 3. So what we're going to do, we're going to make 3 inserters. They can be the small ones too. Right over here. But we have to make sure they're filled constantly, which might require more throughput than just one inserter can provide. I'm curious about that. Like if it can be keep it fed constantly, then there's no big deal, but actually it would be like this, right? Same thing as before, we're just gonna set this up and tell it to make these. It might actually be better to make these the big inserters just so that, or the big assemblers, just so that they can get a healthy supply of wood if that's what they need, because if this is not going to work, let's just see how actively they work. So is it working full time? Is it keeping its supply? Yes, it is. All right, so we're good. So we'll just keep doing that. These guys will make their things, and what will come out, as we can see here, is going to be out of this inserter, the exterior inserter, going to be these copper cap beams. The last step of the process, as we clear out our cleanup crew, is actually going to be filtering it so that the wood stays here. It doesn't keep going down. So if, for whatever reason, things aren't operating and the wood gets all the way to the bottom, we don't want it to go into our line. So we do the filter, and what this will say is copper cap beams are the only thing that's going to be coming out of the conveyor belt. So this conveyor belt, you can see in a bit, is going to be the wood beams, and the copper cap beams can go through here. And you'll basically just choose. It's like a sorter. It sorts out which ones are going to go where. Now, I don't have these filtered out to correct sides, so I'll have to do that real quick. And we don't actually need this. I was just using it as a display, so I'm going to remove that now. But yeah, only the wood can go through that side, and only the copper wood can go through here. Then we got to do our balancing. And I want to try to box some of this stuff up, but that would mess with the balancing. So what I'm actually going to do is up here, I'm going to filter both. So you see both are in this filter. And then I'm going to do another filter which says only the copper cap beams can be on it. And then I can set up a burner inserter to pull it into the box. And once again, need to grab some coal, huh? Maybe I should just keep a few stacks on me. Wouldn't be that bad, would it? Bam. Easy. Bronze chest. So storage size it gets a big upgrade when we get to bronze chest. That's 20 instead of 10. Makes a big difference. But right now, did we get the coal we needed? Let's set it up. Nice progress though. I'm liking this pace better than I was before. I think we're kind of getting into the swing of it a little bit more comfortable, which is a good thing. Now we're going to be keeping these here, and this is still going to be a nice even distribution of materials. And we've gotten all 4 of our things. I don't actually know how much tin we're actually going to be needing. Let's see here. I can look at tin plate usage. It's actually used in a decent number of things. So theoretically, yeah, we'll want to definitely keep moving that direction. And we do have a little copper node up here. It's not much. Definitely not even worth pulling over for, from my perspective, unless we start running dry. My density was set to 200%, which again, I'm not really used to, so we're going to have to expand maybe a little bit faster. And that's when we get into the biter wars. But at least for right now, oh, we do have, speaking of biters, we do have a little bit of action over there. Not that it's going to be too hard to manage with just your starting equipment, but we'll get the turrets and stuff soon. Oh, assemblers is out? Ooh, all right. Steam assemblers. Copper cap beams. I have those. Plates. I should have those. So this is where we're gonna keep like a good eye on our like supplies. Try to keep like 400 of each type of material. Will allow us to that's the crushers. Quickly build out this stuff. Even if we don't have the large copper frames set up yet, we're still going to be able to consistently build this out, which is good. And once again, we're needing some beams. So just continue to grab this where we can. This will give us a nice jump start on our handcrafting. And that will feed into time saved for us, which is gonna allow us to produce more. So while we're waiting for that, well, let me double check recipes, I guess. For these guys, they cannot make... Really, is there anything that we haven't already made out of them? Okay, we have a pretty good picture of what they can make then. They cannot make red science packs is the key thing. That has to be through the big assembly machines, which I guess we knew from up top. But the ingredients for red is pretty easy, actually. Copper plate, tin gear. You're gonna not struggle to find that too much. What we are gonna struggle for, though, is supply of plates. We are starting to finally use all of our supply. Our power is good, but our mining operations here, half of them are down, and we just need to improve that across the board. So we're going to actually create some crushers, and I think mixers might be required for this too, but this is going to be a new extension to our mining operations. We're good on smelters. We're going to get the crushers, which we don't currently have. And we need some plates for that. Specifically copper plates, which I can feel is going to be a significant need, as our ingot production right now is not the best. Not the best. So, crushers, more crushers. Come on. Just a little bit more action here. So we're actually not struggling for wood at all. I'm glad to hear that, at least, because I was worried that that would be, you know, it's technically finite until we get the forestry up and running, how much we really can generate in terms of wood, but there's just so many trees. We we found a good spot to start things off. Alrighty. Do I want to grab these for myself? I guess. Oh, it's not even... Sometimes, some machines will be like literally holding like 100 at a time. These guys are holding like 8, so not a big deal. But yeah, we're lacking copper. It's going to be cause and effect. We just really need to get moving on the copper side of things in order to make sure we have the materials we need. So that might be slow down our handcrafting a bit, but all right, we got 5 mixers. We've got 5 crushers. And we can throw down some coal. Yeah, I wasn't really prioritizing feeding these middle ones coal because I think we have to just redo everything in order to make that happen, which is not too difficult. But yeah, we'll go ahead. What's that hotkey? Shift C, nice. Which I guess is supposed to be like a trash dump hotkey where you just get stuff out of your inventory that you don't want lingering around. Which I've definitely have had happen plenty of times in other mods. Oh, these poor robots. They're out of energy. This hustle they go. Just grab them out of the air. It'll be okay. It'll be okay, guys. Alrighty, and this is stone break action. Alright, still have the coal, so bop. Just in case. We need to be expanding. So let's get some drills. Steam mining drills. Need to expand that. What we're going to do is segment this all out where it's drills putting out the ore going into the crushers. I think we better just get an idea for what these actual recipes are. So crushers don't have recipes, first and foremost. But yeah, we're going to have to just take things offline in order to bring everything online in the long term. So I guess we're just going to get started on that right now. Let's start figuring this out while we wait for all this stuff to build piece by piece. Okay, let's make sure we have enough energy in our suit. Right now, yeah, roport's fine. This one might need a little more coal, not much more, and yeah, we'll go from there. Yeah, so we're going to need a little bit more of that. Which means we probably need to hold off on this, because we really do need the drills. Steam drills preferred. And the lucky thing is that the burner mining drills we can pick up and then reprocess them into what we want. Do we really need that much stone right now? I mean, it's literally not doing anything. One of these guys I think was... Nah, I guess they're redoing it now. I'm going to go ahead, since tin doesn't seem to be moving at all, I'm going to borrow these. Borrow, quote, in air quotes. And start repurposing our drilling. One more. All right, cool. So all that is being created right now. Maybe we shouldn't have taken it down just yet, because it's going to slow down how long it takes for us to get all the other stuff, unfortunately, but it'll be okay. Jeez, these things go so slow. I'm going to leave them behind so often. Hopefully we can get those upgraded pretty soon. Alright, so we're going to try to get everything off of the tarmac here. So, airport reference. I don't know why I decided to go that route with it, but... yeah. Is this even needed for anything? It's just for this stuff, right? Yeah, we're probably demolishing it all. Alright, anyways, we're gonna just clear this all out and try to utilize the space as best we can on the actual copper line. Yeah, we'll just keep it up top here for right now. Come on, guys. Can I just tell him to disassemble the robots? Nah. Grab them though. Alrighty. Slow him down a little bit. So you can tell when I'm comfortable and I'm just like speeding along. Oh, I know how this works, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying a new thing. Let's get the materials together and all that. There's a very different pace between the two. There's a figure out and there's a do it mode, and those are two very different things. But anyways, we got we mostly have mining drills. Jeez, this is gonna take a while, isn't it? Yeah, handcrafting every piece is not gonna work. At the very least, I can get the plates. I don't want to fill my inventory now, but we can get the plates. We can drop some stuff on the floor for no reason. Alright. Pistons. Yeah, this is where we really need to utilize what we've built for ourselves. The whole reason to build all this stuff and to box all this stuff is to make it accessible for these kinds of situations where we want to minimize basically how many squares we see right here. And we can. We definitely can do that. Just gotta be smart about it. What we can do is we grab a few ingots here. Make sure that these guys are healthy. And making a lot of plates. And the plates can go in here. We got plenty of rivets. That's not the issue. It's definitely the plates. I always feel like a frog when I'm saying rivets. Alrighty. So yeah, this covers most of what we need. Not perfect, but what plan is. Alright, as far as that goes, then we have crushers, we have mixers. Let's just figure out what the process is, get a design going, and by then most of the stuff will be made. Hopefully the bronze furnaces are at the same size. I don't think it necessarily tells you, but yeah, if they're a different... There's a point in the base game where the furnace changes sizes, and it throws off a lot of your builds, so you have to be kind of forward thinking about that. But we have what we have right now. So let's keep it simple. Let's put down a crusher. Let's put some copper in the crusher. Connect a steam line to it. Let's see what it makes. It makes crushed copper ore. Crushed copper ore then feeds into a furnace, which will then be smelted into ingots. So it's really just one extra step. It's not that complicated. There's no mixers or anything yet. No big deal. Mixtures come as the next couple steps. That's cool. All right, pretty straightforward then. Let's pull this apart. And I guess the rate is important though. Like how fast do you mine? How fast does it crush? What's the ratio? This is where Factory Planner, let's go ahead and while we have plenty of extra time here with this stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about Factory Planner. So what you can do is you can create like a subsystem of like, I want to make this thing. How much is it going to take? And I actually used to do this like typing it out in a notepad and checking out the ratio of ingredients, the time scale of how long it takes to craft each item, and blah, blah, blah. You can do it, but it gets super tedious, and I just don't think that that's something that I want to keep doing. I remember the first time I made Blue Science, I mapped it all out, A to Z, and, you know, it's nice for some people, but not I think it's pretty standard to make these sub-factories and ratio it out either with a web tool or a in-game mod. Anyways, what we're going to be trying to make is just crushed copper. And now we'll go to products. We're actually just going to be trying to maximize ingot processing. Where are we at here? Oh, you can search. Okay, ingot. So we're making copper ingots, and let's just say we're making 200 per minute or whatever. I'm not too sure. But what you do then is you left click it, and we say we're going to be using the crushed copper ore recipe, and it will tell you right here that you need this much and this much. We're not going to worry about fuel. We're going to worry about that. So what we just did is we broke it down into segments. We said, okay, we're going to need 10.7 in order to get 200 per items per minute. We'll need 11 furnaces, 4 crushers, and 2 mining drills. You just know your ratios. So that's just like right off the bat, really helpful. But since copper is the most important thing, and we can definitely fit more than a few of these drills, let's say something like that. Let's just say that we can fit 12 drills. In that context, what we're going to want, going back to this, is to multiply this by at least 6. So let's say that we want... I think there might be a way to like actually change how many of these will be utilized and base it off of that. But I'm just going to do it the easier way, which is like, let's say we are shooting for like 1,400 maybe. And you'll see it's just a little bit too high. So a little guess and check. And you'll find yourself getting closer and closer to that. 1325, somewhere in there. Yeah, and we're going to be rounding a lot of this stuff anyway, so it's not a big deal if I find the perfect answer or whatever, as I screwed up. But the whole point is then you will then have a comparative value of how much... Yeah, so it's just 1350, and then you'll be able to make it out of 24 crushers, 72 furnaces. Hopefully we can then look at the other furnace instead and see it's going to be faster. So this is double the crafting speed. So this is going to need half as many. So let's just plan to allocate space for 36 furnaces, even if we're running at half production for a bit. It's still a huge increase in production for what we had before. So that's the game plan. And we have to make sure that we can satisfy that without ruining what we currently have. I think the easiest way to do it will actually be lines of 4 this way. Yeah. And then we'll get the steam going. Down this way, and then I need to just hop in here to get it out. We'll do a underground and go from there. Technically speaking, it would be cool if we could just do the thing that I was talking about earlier, where I don't think this will work. It's got to be right here, and that will evenly distribute the two. And nice thing that you can do about it as well is you can look at it in the context of belts. So if you have yellow belts, will you need more than one belt to supply it? Let's say I had like 50 of these. It's definitely going to take more than one yellow belt to send it all out. You can actually get informed about that. But in this case, it's going to match out to one belt nicely. So the copper ingots themselves, actually, because we're making extra ingots, we're actually going to have 2 belts of copper ingots, or one and a half filled belts. But we'll worry about that later. Right now, 1 belt will cover all the stuff that we're pulling from the earth, and then we just need to send it out to some crushers, which will be right out here. Crushers themselves, we need, did it say 24 of them? That's a lot more than we currently have, but that's okay. We can just set it up and use what we can. Steam crushers and steam inserters, and we'll just do it like that. And this is where I get trapped. All right, this is where we will then set up a little bit of action here. And then an underground there. And then we're going to have to do pretty much the same thing right here. To pull it all out. Yeah, we're not using a lot of tin, so I'm not really worried about the time pressure on that one nearly as much as I am trying to get this back online so we can actually continue to produce, you know, important materials. So, yeah, we have 12 right now, which is not bad. We are also lacking steam pipes, which obviously is quite important. Okay, so that's enough for right now. We can complete this whole chain later and actually have it balanced out to what the factory planner would suggest that we do. But right now I just want to get everything online and moving. And then we'll have the materials to actually finish the thing. Because I actually think we might straight up run out of like pipes and etc. with our current copper count. I mean, obviously I could pull like some ingots that I put in boxes and make it work, but I don't really want to go down that road if I don't have to. Upper plates. Woo. I think there's a button for hitting like 100 of these instead, but I don't know it very well. I don't want to like spend all my copper on it because that's a lot, obviously. Ooh, we could reutilize rivets as well. Anywho. Yeah, we'll go with this. We now have crushed copper, which, as we mentioned before, is going to take a full belt. Luckily, this is half the number of machines, so we're actually fine. We don't have to... We can cover half of the belt, and it'll be reasonable, because it's 12 machines out of the 24. So we'll do this. And now we're going to set up smelting station, which I guess can go right over here. So right off the bat, you can go ahead and start setting up smelters right here. And it's nice to kind of just keep everything in line, because then you can have like identical inserter positions and stuff like that. So I can literally just copy paste this line right here and go over that. It looks like we are running low on steam. Thought we did really good with our boiler setup, but no. Okay, it's our setup. It's just our configuration. Maybe it's this single pipe. This single pipe doesn't have the throughput for it. That's fine. That's a much easier fix than a few of the other issues. Oh, because we're running so much out of here and out of here, the crushers and the mining drills. It makes sense. And the boilers are pretty far away, so you're gonna get like less pumping, less fluid pressure. So let's check where the issue actually starts. Or did I just break something? Oh, I just broke something. Okay, never mind. Forget the fluid pressure lesson. We literally just disconnected our stuff. There you go. Alright, this is coming back up. And everything has what it's needed. All problems solved. Yay! Oh, I forgot about coal. I forgot about coal for the furnaces. Do we want to do a bit different then? I'll just run the coal on this side and it'll be fine. So what we'll end up doing is segmenting this out. I was planning on just doing dual-sided crushed copper by putting 12 up here and then doing the little conveyor belt trick. But we're actually going to be doing... Why are you mad? Well, you have to be mad. I just didn't connect these at all. Okay. What we actually can do instead... Is that what we want? I don't know that it is. Eventually this will be 36, so it'll be 18. But that still means I'm missing 6 that I need to be representing somewhere. So I actually want this to continue down a bit. So we'll make 6 more of these right here, since we have the space for it. Continue the cycle here with slightly larger reproduction of what we already had going on. That's fine, we'll just cancel out the bottom bits. There we go. Kind of cool to have robots this early. It definitely helps with some of the monotony of scaling this up early. And then, yeah, we'll just bop. Fill her up. Come on. Do we run out of burner inserters or steam inserters? Of course we did. Tin rods, we can fix that. Let's go ahead and grab some tin rods real quick. Right down here. Plates while we can. And then, yeah, tin rods. Yeah, looking back, there's really not that much value in tin rods. Outside of stuff like the inserters. So, yeah, we'll keep it on the side and it should be just fine. And our next game plan is to get these last pieces. Small copper frame, large copper frame, clockwork motor, and clockwork rotor. But supply comes before demand, so let's keep the supply rolling. Alright, so we have some coal over there. And what we can do with it, if this is the right amount of guys, let's see, that's 18, which is again, yeah, half of what we're going to need overall. Not getting that much out of it. Maybe we need to bring these guys into it too. Can't crush coal. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop with the box game for the coal. Put it back up top here. We can always put more drills here, right? But currently, okay, those are totally full. I'm just going to make a new box. Ooh, yeah, the bronze ones are still coming, so. Cool. So what you're going to do instead is feed into this. We never ended up sending it over to that stuff on the right, but we definitely will need to eventually. So what we'll do is make some space here. If I didn't mess it up, it would have removed these. Anyways, we can just, yeah, set it in. Down, down. Oh, one more over. It's going to be more like this. Okay. And then we'll reconnect this where it's supposed to go, which is there. So now we're having two mining drills send out their stuff, and we still have this to send out to the tin if we want to. But point being, this is all here because if we can do this, just run this up top. So it's 5 spaces at minimum to go across horizontally. So we have to kind of figure out where we're going to be putting these crushers, but I'm just going to say we're not putting them here and work with it. So what we're going to be doing is trying to set up this so that the coal goes on the inside and can go right into the furnaces directly. So now the furnaces are pulling both the crushed copper ore and the coal into themselves, fueling themselves nicely. So that's a half and half. So that's when you split these lines more efficiently. So this is a half of a copper line, but it is looking pretty good, all things considered. Let's wrap it up with a little bit inserter action, and then we can run the line wherever it may need to go. My robots are getting a little distracted. More steam inserters. That's what we need. And luckily, we can make them pretty efficiently. And then we'll need some more steam pipes. And of course, we're going to need some conveyor belts. If it has steam. Do we just want to steam it at the top? Sure. Cool. And then, like we said, it's going to take 1.5. So right now this is 0.75, which means we cannot just fit it onto a half of a conveyor belt. We need at least a third of these to go on the other side. So we'll just go halfway down. If this is 18, we'll go to the 9. And then basically what that means is these guys will be here. And then they'll go on the inside like that. Cool. We got ingots. Loop the ingots in down where they belong. Let's see, the best insertion point would be maybe like here. We can just bypass all that stuff. Cool. Is there anything that's not getting ingots that we like skipped? I think we're fine, honestly. There might be some random stuff over here, but that's pretty much discontinued at this point. So where were we? A little bit to the right. Let's run next to the coal. And let there be copper. We are back online. Interesting. That's coming from there, but it's actually supposed to be going to there. So I got ahead of myself a little bit. It's actually supposed to go on this line here, which I can do. Let's just cut this and hard insert there. Cool. All right. So all this will start working again. These boxes will be filled up with all the good stuff. It's going to be wonderful. These guys will never need to be filled up with coal because I already got it on the line. And presumably these will get cleared up once the line starts moving, assuming we're consuming at a full rate. So that is a nice clean line. We can go ahead and... Well, do we have any more steam? We have two more. Two more of these. I think we just need to make more and keep it in mind for the future. Or no, we can put the one back here that we borrowed. And a little bit of this. Now, some YouTube guru told me that at this point I'm supposed to be saying something along the lines of, hope you guys are enjoying the video, and if you are and you think other people enjoy it as well, it'd be great if you could leave a like. That way it'll get shared to more people, and you know, it'll make me feel like doing this a bit more often. I'll still probably try to keep regular upload schedule regardless though, so don't feel like this is contingent on what happens in the engagement stuff, but like I do feel good when I see a comment or just see more people watching the video and stuff like that. I enjoy it. I get a little bit more out of it, but obviously it's not a monetary thing since I don't expect this to go anywhere. It's just nice to see every once in a while. I think the first one got like 100 views. It's pretty cool. Especially just for a little factory game, which I just happen to absolutely love. Yeah, and I think it also might show, like, in terms of, like, how much I enjoy the game. I enjoy all the games that I've played so far on the channel, but I think, man, I really adore this game. And I can just get lost in it for hours. So I'll try to keep it consolidated. I'll try to plan a little bit of what I'm doing ahead of time so I'm not just, like, floundering. But, yeah, it's been fun so far putting this together and showcasing the game for you guys. And hopefully we'll have many more episodes to come. But that is going to be close to time for me wrapping up. It's an hour in the episode. It's hitting 1 a.m. for me. I'm feeling pretty tired, and I don't feel like I'm going to get too much further tonight. So I think we will call it there after we figure out whatever's going on with this steam. What's going on with this steam? Do we run out of... Oh, we made what we needed. These guys are just rude. 1.6K in the fluid system, all coming from the top here. So we got pressure. So these guys are getting steam from here. Great. They're connected to here. They're going all the way through here. But for some reason, I had the assumption that all this was working. And now I don't know why it's worked as long as it has. It's got to be connected somewhere, right? How are you working? I feel like I'm blind and missing something, but maybe I connected it for a bit. It put a bunch of steam in the system, and now it's starting to run low. Yeah, whatever. Regardless, let's go ahead and fix that real quick. And we'll just do a nice, easy fix here. Cool. All right, everything's back online. The ingots will flow, and the show will go on. Eventually, we'll be able to double up our production here. You're going to see roughly half these working right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's exactly right, because we're actually only crushing at half the rate we need in order to fulfill 12 mining drills worth of input. But this will all work out really nicely in the end. We'll have a really good flow. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Might as well go ahead and box up some of our wood so we keep that in mind for the future. And that'll be it. So, indeed, we'll greet our robot friends. Give them a little steampunk hug and call it. So at this point, we did finish up a good continuous supply of the copper cap beams, the copper, whatever the heck's, pistons, a little bit of tin. And I think next time we should just power level tech. We have the means of making that happen. We might need to reinforce our tin supply in the future, but at least for the moment, it's not drying up anytime soon. And just so we can kind of make that a little bit more confirmed, I'm going to do a little trick I like to do as a buffer, where I simply do this, this, and this, and then we'll have to connect them all with steam right over here. And what we're actually going to be doing is this and this. So what this basically does is it's taking off, you know, however many blocks off of it, but it's only putting them on if it needs it. So right now we're chilling. We don't need it, but eventually we will. You can also, you know, just drop that there. So they'll keep those working while we need, so that it's there when we need it. We'll put this one back up online for right now, even though we do plan on making changes to that in the future. Right now, it can do its thing. And yeah, tech ahoy. We're going to go for tech. We're going to finish up these the big four here for copper, and then we're going to head into the Bronze Age, baby. It's going to be great. All right. Already a nice little chain of improvements. The factory will continue to grow. And I hope you're there to see it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and you have a great night.